Today on the spot, we got triple the demos with Blue Toad Murder Files on the PlayStation 3, Resonance of Fate on the Xbox 360, and Dragon Age Origins Awakenings on the PC. We get an update with what's new this week on Xbox Live, and Jody Robinson brings you the community spotlight, and we give away the ugliest poster ever. Today on the spot.
Hello everybody and welcome to Today on the Spot for Thursday, March 4th. I'm your host, Sean McInnes. Joining me today is Brian Eckberg. Brian, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing okay, but first we have to start off the show with the obvious issue that we kind of passed along some misinformation on the last episode. We said that the United States won the Olympics this year. As it turns out, they don't actually declare an overall winner of the Olympics.
Yeah, when you think about it, like Canada won more gold medals and they kicked their ass in hockey. So
They did, well, kicked our ass. I don't know.
There's only one winner.
They scored a goal in overtime.
Yeah, they did. It's not the only mistakes we made, though, unfortunately.
That's right. We have a few other things we need to get off our chest.
That's right. I mispronounced the name of the game is Resonance of Fates. I think I pronounced that Residence of Fates. I apologize, Residence of Fates. I didn't mean that. I also referred to God of War 3 as a pixel hunting game. That is not true.
That is not true. Also, I might have mentioned that Marco Martinez, our Files producer, has a cameo in that game. Turns out the character Kratos was actually designed after Marco.
Got it.
He is the entire game.
I mean, it's understandable. That's an easy mistake to make.
It absolutely is. Now, we've got a great show coming up for you guys. Those small bits of misinformation aside, we've got some really cool giveaways. The most frightening poster you're likely to ever find
Good Lord.
on this show. This is for Dementium 2.
Not only is that a hand coming out of a mouth, it's a hairy hand coming out of a mouth.
It's a hairy hand. This person's going to get hair in their teeth. It's
Yeah.
I can't look at this anymore.
Nasty.
It's frightening. We've got some great demos for you. We've got Blue Toad Murder Files, and we've also got Resonance of Fate and an interview for the new Dragon Age DLC. But as always, we're going to start it off with Tor Thorson and the latest headlines.
Hey everybody, it's your GameSpot news update for Thursday, March 4th. I'm Tor Thorson. If you were worried that Activision might flood the market with Call of Duty games just like it did Guitar Hero, you might want to sit down. This week saw the company fire the CEO and president of Infinity Ward, Jason Ward and Vince Zampella, for breach of contract and insubordination. That's right, kids, talking back to the boss can get you fired. Activision also announced it is creating an entire division to expand the Call of Duty brand into all sorts of new genres and business models. What does that mean? This year we'll see one Call of Duty game from World of War dev Treyarch. Next year we'll see at least one Call of Duty game from an unknown developer. A third Call of Duty game is also in development at Sledgehammer Games, the San Francisco Bay Area studio which Activision founded by poaching two co-creators of Dead Space from EA. The company said that game will extend the franchise into the action-adventure genre, leading many to believe it will be third-person. Analysts believe it will also be released next year, bringing the 2011 Call of Duty total to 2. That's not all, though. Activision is also in negotiations with Asian massively multiplayer developers to bring Call of Duty to the East, and by Asian, they mean Chinese. Analysts believe that if a deal is made soon, a third Call of Duty game, likely an MMO of some sort, could also launch next year. The story does not end there, though. Yesterday, Zampella and West sued Activision. They accused the company of staging a fake HR investigation in order to fire them on trumped-up charges just weeks before they were to get their royalty payments from Modern Warfare 2. After all we've given Activision, we shouldn't have to sue to get paid, said Zampella, who wants the rights to all Modern Warfare branded games handed over to him and West. Better get comfortable, people. This whole mess is going to take a while to clean up. Well, that's it, your GameSpot news update for Thursday, March 4th. For more headlines, head on over to news.gamespot.com.
And there you have it. That's your update in the world of news. Now, it's a Thursday show, Brian, and on every Thursday show, we like to keep you caught up on the world of Xbox Live Arcade. Are there any new games that you're looking forward to this week?
I'm really looking forward to Toy Soldiers, which is coming this week. Saw it at CES back in January for the first time in Las Vegas. Sort of a real-time strategy game that is set in a toy box, an old school toy box with the toy soldiers. You have cannons you can set up. You have emplacements that you can sort of add whatever you want. You can add a sniper tower, cannons, whatever, and you can take direct control of that. So you can take control of a machine gun nest and just mow guys down. But it's got a really neat art style. That old school toy thing is just, it's very evocative, very cool.
And it's a World War I game, which is something you never see.
You never see it. It's all World War II or modern combat these days, so this is World War I. All the fun of World War I on Xbox Live, baby.
Sounds good.
But it's not the only thing that's happening on Xbox Live. Let's check it out and get you caught up with everything happening on Xbox Live this week.
This week on Xbox Live Marketplace, you get access to a ton of content. New to arcade this week is Toy Soldiers, which lets you take part in action-packed battles set within the unlikely battlefield of a World War I toy diorama. Assemble your troops and position your defenses, then take direct control of artillery to bomb enemy positions, pilot biplanes against the enemy trench, or maneuver your tanks into battle, and lead your soldiers to victory. Toy Soldiers includes a single-player campaign and two-player head-to-head mode, for both local play and on Xbox Live. A demo as well as the full version of the game is available now. This week in the Games on Demand section, folks who've never got a chance to try Fallout 3, which is arguably one of the best Xbox 360 games ever, should definitely check out what is best described as a first-person shooter with RPG elements. Or is it an RPG with first-person shooter elements? Whichever way you vote, the journey Fallout 3 offers is a look at post-apocalyptic Washington, D.C. complete with radiated mutants, wastelanders, and a great cast of characters. Not to mention a great story. Fallout 3 is one game on demand not to miss. Also new to the Games on Demand section is Viva Pinata Trouble in Paradise. Take a trip back to the island where Professor Pester's latest scheme has led to disaster. With environments that range from the scorching deserts to icy wastes, you'll have plenty of places to try to trap the new species. Once you do, you'll be able to train them, dress them, and then, of course, send them to a party. New pinatas, activities, features, and new secrets await. New in the demos section this week, we've got a demo for Lips Party Classics. The demo comes with 3 tracks from the game's full song list, including I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor, Sweet Home Alabama by Leonard Skinner, and Love Shack by the B-52s. New add-ons for this week include the second installment of new content for Resident Evil 5, Desperate Escape. Find out how Jill Valentine made it out on her own, and what role Josh Stone played in her escape. This DLC package also allows you to unlock 2 new characters in Mercenaries Reunion. Moving on to the videos section, you'll find new videos for upcoming games, including a new one for Halo Reach, Kane & Lynch 2 Dog Days, Iron Man 2, and Medal of Honor. That should keep you busy this week. Be sure to tune in next week for more, this week on Xbox Live.
Coming up next is the first demo of the show, Blue Toad Murder Files. Let's have a look.
Hey everyone, Brian Eckberg here with the daily demo. We're talking Blue Toad Murder Files with Relentless Software's Jade Tidy. Jade, welcome to the show. Happy to have you here. So, Blue Toad Murder Files has been out in Europe for a while.
Yep.
Episodic game, but it's just now preparing to come to US shores. So how do you explain this game to people? What do you tell them?
It's a murder mystery game.
Okay.
So it kind of harks back to the old Agatha Christie, Poirot type of murder mystery. You get to play one of the Blue Toad detectives, and you come to our quaint little village called Little Riddle, where there is a murder, and you have to solve it and find out who did it. So each episode will have its own whodunit, and we've got episode 1 here today.
Okay, 6 episodes total, right?
Yeah, there's 6
eventually.
in total. Yeah.
Okay, but we're looking at episode 1, so fire it up with the game and tell us where we are, what are we doing, and what are we about to see?
Okay, so we're just into a little bit of the first episode at the moment, about 10 minutes in, and you've just come into the village on a train, and you've been told you've actually come to rest, you've come to have your holiday, but as you'll see, you're not going to get much of a rest.
All right, let's see what happens.
The station master suggested a visit to the town hall. Maybe here you will find something to stave off the imminent onset of starvation and dehydration. Directions to
So here you get to meet the mayor of Little Riddle.
And thankfully, it seems someone is more than
You can tell he's a mayor by the official-looking medal around his neck.
That every good mayor should have.
Yeah.
Of Little Riddle, the quaintest, quietest, and quite categorically safest village in the whole of...
Well, now we have a victim.
Now we have a victim, and now we have a murder to solve. So this is one of the Blue Toad detectives you get to play. It's called Van der Bosch. Has the most amazing mustache in the world.
Yep.
Loving his facial hair.
The basics of the gameplay are puzzle solving, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so you've got the individual puzzles. We're just about to come into one now.
Okay. So what's this one? This is
So on
missing
this
letters.
one, yeah, you've just picked up the mayor's diary that he dropped when he died, and he's got a code in the back of it, and you need to try and solve the code to work out what he was actually talking about. So here you get to pick up a letter and try and see where they fit depending on what the code is. Can you solve it?
Probably not, but I'll give it a try. It looks like the words are backwards to me. Reading from bottom left to right.
Spot on.
I met, so there's your E,
Yep.
the Doc, and told him.
You're good at this.
It's almost like I played this before.
Have you?
I was mad that I got the
Yep.
wrong pills. Amazing. Amazing problem-solving skills on my part. What's interesting is that you have to pay attention to that puzzle because that little bits of information from puzzles you solve at one point in the game sort of come back, right? You have to, everything ties together.
Yeah, so here you found out that the mayor was mad at the doctor, so that maybe he's going to be one of your suspects, which, as we find out after this, he does become one of your suspects. Plus you get an extra 3 to pick from of people that he'd met that day and had possibly had arguments with.
Okay. So how do we go about getting this game? When is it coming out? All of that good stuff.
We're releasing the first 3 episodes at the end of March, so it'll be the last Thursday in March. So you can buy them individually, or you can buy them as a bundle pack and get 3 episodes together. And we'll be releasing 4 to 6 at the end of April.
All right, well there you go. Blue Toad Murder Files coming soon on PlayStation Network. Jade, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
There you go, first daily demo of the day. Well, there you go. There's your look at Blue Toad Murder Files. Sean, I understand you had some fun on the forums last week.
I did. In fairness, it is your fault. I blame you 100%.
What do you mean?
It was this topic in the PlayStation 3 forum about how some of us, we were trying to fold our little paper cranes, our little origami cranes in Heavy Rain.
Heavy Rain, yeah.
I folded mine incorrectly. You made a joke about it, and so I yelled at you in all capital letters.
Yeah. Well, and then you paid the price. You got regulated.
I got regulated. I got moderated. I was real sad afterwards.
It just goes to show you that even GameSpot editors can be moderated by the community. We're not immune to it. We play by the rules too, sort of.
Sort of, most of the time. Yeah. Some of the time.
Yeah.
But that's not the only thing going on in the community this week. Jody Robinson has the latest community spotlight. Jody, take it away.
Hey there, this is Jody Robinson, GameSpot's Community Manager. This week's Community Spotlight highlights an image guessing activity, editorial staff blogs, and the Member Spotlight. If you enjoy puzzle solving, GameSpot's first image guessing game activity gives you the opportunity to flex your box art knowledge. We put together a monthly forums activity that will grant participants an emblem. This week's Member Spotlight goes to Techno Logo Doom for his blog about the best Xbox Live indie games. He also created a union dedicated to indie game content or other game deviations. You can check out his latest blog by visiting the forums page under the Member Spotlight section. While GameSpotters participate in blogs, the editors also update their profiles with personal blogs. Here's a quick run through the latest blogs written by the editors. Giancarlo Veronini noticed some unanswered questions in his Metroid Other M preview, so he took the time to answer them in his latest blog. Chris Waters posted his second edition of the quotable Mass Effect 2 featuring Normandy crew member Morden. Lastly, Kevin Van Ord recorded footage of a scary moment in Unreal 2 The Awakening. You can find a link to each editorial blog by visiting the community news page. That's all for this week's Community Spotlight. This is Jody Robinson signing off.
All right, Jody, thanks for that community update. Up next, we've got a demo for Resonance of Fate. Brian, what do you know about this game?
I know that the game has the exclusive Canadian Football League license.
That's true. I also know that it's also a really intense, hardcore, real-time strategy game and has a cover that's very similar to Dementium 2.
It's almost plagiarism.
It's almost plagiarism. We're going to admit both those things we just totally made up. So in order to find out what the real truth is, let's have a look at that demo right now.
Hey everyone, Sophia here, and I'm joined by Segura-san from TriAce, and he's here to show us Resonance of Fate. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. I'm going to talk about our new title, Resonance of Fate, and I'll be showing you a couple of pieces from battle sequences, and also I'll be talking really briefly about the story and background of the game. So in this game, the game is set in the far future, and in this world, the environment has deteriorated so much that people can sustain their lives any longer, and people have built this gigantic towering system called Basel to sustain their lives. And just like our society, in this world, they have a pretty strict hierarchy. We have the ruling class, which we call cardinals, and also we have middle class, where the three protagonists are from, and also we have the lower class people. And the three protagonists are bounty hunters, and we call them private military funds in this game. So they will do whatever for cash.
So how does the battle system work? I know it's a mix of like kind of real-time and turn-based elements.
So in this game, we have this really cool move called hero action. It's like moving and attacking in one go. So what you have to do, it's actually quite simple. All you have to do is you have to specify the location where you want to go, the destination, and then once the character starts moving, it's automatic. So you just have to hit the attack button when you want to.
And I noticed that there's like a targeting reticle. Can you kind of explain how that works?
So red circle shows the charging. So in this game, you can't just shoot at enemy whenever you want to. So when you hit attack button, you start charging, and once you get a full circle, you're ready to attack. And then it's like aiming system. You're aiming at an enemy, and the closer you get to the enemy, the faster you can charge.
So you have three characters that are playing together. So how do they work together? Like, are there combo attacks?
Basically, one character, we have a turn-based, sort of a turn-based system, where one player character after another. But then we also have this special attack called the tri-attack, in which all the three characters can attack in one go.
Can you explain how you would set that up? Like, how would you get all three to attack at the same time?
First, you have to initiate the hero attack that I mentioned earlier. And when you do that, you will have to make sure that your player character will go through two other characters. And in this way, you will get the vibration, the resonance between all three characters, and you get the point we call resonance point. And when you have more than one resonance point, they'll be able to move in triangle and initiate a tri-attack.
So another thing that's kind of different about this RPG is that you're using a lot of like modern weapons. And could you explain like there's like customization going on as well? Could you talk a bit about that?
So what is different in this game is since we're using weapons as a main means of attack, even if you level up, it doesn't mean you will get like double defense skill or you will get double attack skill. But many of the stats of the characters are dependent on the weapons they have. So what you need to do is you need to get new parts and add those parts to your basic weapon. This way you will add more skills and attributes of your weapon. And also, since this is just a game, you can be pretty creative in adding parts. So we can do a lot of crazy things like 6 barrels or 6 scopes in single gun. But you have to make sure though you don't exceed the limit of the weight that you can hold, because in the first couple of stages you can only hold so much weight. But as you go progress in the game, you'll be able to carry a lot more weapons, so weapons will be more stronger.
All right, so when is this game coming out and on what platforms?
Resonance of Fate will be out in March, on March 16th on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3.
Thank you so much for stopping by. And that was our look at Resonance of Fate. Be sure to check the game space for more coverage, and now on with the show.
All right, now we're all caught up with Resonance of Fate. Sean and I won't be making up any more facts about that game. It's time to check out another one, right? Another game.
Yep, we've got an interview for the new Dragon Age Awakening expansion pack. This is pretty hefty. It's not even like DLC that we see with most console games. It's like a full-blown expansion pack. It's new characters, new story, new quests and all that. Unfortunately, they will not be patching in Scottish accents for the dwarves.
Not interested then.
Something that I would pay up to and including $700.
700 simoleons.
Call me crazy, I don't want my dwarves to sound like they're from Bellingham, Washington.
Nope.
You know? I might be crazy, but you guys aren't crazy for being excited about Dragon Age Awakening because it looks pretty cool. So let's have a look at that interview right now. All right, everybody, it's daily demo time, and we've got a special treat for you today. It's Dragon Age Origins Awakening, the expansion for my personal favorite RPG of 2009. Joining me today is David Silverman from BioWare.
How you doing? Nice to meet you, Sean.
I'm doing great, actually. So you guys have been on a roll lately. You had Dragon Age, you had Mass Effect 2, and now you're ushering out this new full-featured expansion pack. You guys just don't stop, do you?
You know, the fans, they love these interactive story adventures, so as long as the fans keep craving more, we're going to keep on trying to fulfill that need.
Cool. Well, let's have a look right now. We've got the game running right here on PC. So guide us through this. Where are we in the expansion right now?
So this is about 7 hours into the game, and that's one of the characters, Sigrun. We'll actually encounter her a little bit more in a second after we rescue her from some Hurlocks. And what's going on is there's been a rift has opened up, and there's been a bunch of Darkspawn. In Awakening, you actually take the role of the Grey Warden Commander. So you can either bring in your character from Dragon Age Origins, or you can start a brand new one, which comes from a neighboring area of the game. So what happens is, as this Grey Warden Commander, it's been your role to sort of rebuild the Warden. So as you know from playing Origins, a lot of the Grey Wardens died in that Battle of Ostagar. Right. So it's up to you now to rebuild the ranks and to establish a new set of Grey Wardens. And they've given you command of a new land, to a new area called Amaranthine, to really get to kind of build your base. So what we're doing is, part of this mission is also to figure out this new breed of Darkspawn. For some reason, when the Archdemon was defeated, sorry, spoiler alert, the Darkspawn didn't go away, as the kind of scrolls and sages have said would happen. So what we need to do is we need to figure out why. And on top of that, you learn some more stuff about, you know, these new kind of special breed of talking Darkspawn and trying to uncover that. So here we are talking to Sigrun here as we're going into this kind of rift, figuring out what's going on and why there's so much Darkspawn in this one area.
Okay. So Sigrun, obviously one of a cast of new characters in Awakening. Can you give us an idea what to expect from those other new faces?
Yeah, so one thing we wanted to do is people love the characters and the character interactions, so we wanted to give you kind of a whole bunch of new ones, and new characters to interact with and whatnot. So we're actually bringing 5 brand new characters in, and we're returning one of our personal favorites back in the fold as well. And in addition to that, you're actually going to get to see a lot of cameo appearances from various people that you've seen in the game. And in our videos, we've showed you like Alistair coming back. Now you may ask yourself, oh, wait a minute, you know, Alistair, he wasn't king when I played.
Right.
You know, like, really, spoiler alert. You have to get some bar at the bottom or something.
You should have beat the game by now. Shame on you if you haven't.
We really prided ourselves in kind of creating this reactionary gameplay, right? This Choice 2.0, we called it, where the choices you make have these rippling consequences. So don't worry, you know, if you've made a choice and Alistair is over here instead of being over there, he's not going to be in your game. The game's going to remember what you've done in Origins and react accordingly.
Cool, very cool. So it's looking pretty grim right here.
So this is actually, you know, we've talked to Sigrun, she's joined our party, and we're actually going deep inside this lost dwarven city right now. And this is actually an interesting place because it's been lost to the dwarves for several centuries. Mm-hmm. And this is actually was their technological mecca. This is where they had some of their biggest technological advances, and it's kind of been lost to the Darkspawn. So as you go through this area, you're actually going to see some really cool pieces of technology. You'll see some ancient ruins, and you actually get some pretty sweet loot as well. So we'll show you some fighting here, some of the different characters and how they act, and then we'll hop into another area of the game.
And so it's not Ormar that we're going back to, it's a completely different dwarven
No,
city?
this is not Orzammar.
Okay.
So what you're going to see is our main character is a human noble. So he's being our warrior here. But we also have some of the new party members which we've actually released already, so I'll talk a little bit about them. So this is Valana. She's kind of your Dragon Age equivalent of an environmentalist. You know, she's sort of been one with nature. She's an elf who's, gone out with the Dalish, kind of excluded from society. She's very anti-human. So one thing you'll instantly see is if you play as a human character, you actually got to build up your trust even more. So she's already very wary of you. Humans have really kind of, been not the nicest, so to speak, to the elves, as you've seen, and you're going to have to pay the consequences of that. So Sigrun, we saw her. You get her in this part of the game, and let's talk a little bit about her. So what makes her unique is she's a member of the Legion of the Dead, which sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
And what that is it's sort of like it's kind of this. I like to say it's like the Navy SEALs of the dwarves.
Oh, nice.
But it's kind of more than that. So not only are they these elite, soldiers, but they actually are doing this. There's kind of they've volunteered to do this death sentence. So they've been sent into the deep roads. They've committed their life to killing as many darkspawn as they can before they die. And the reason they do this is to, either they've committed a crime and they're trying to get repentance for their family, or they're actually doing it to better their caste. So a lot of these. So in Sigrun's case, she's not a member of. She's not in the elite upper class of the dwarves. So she's actually doing this to kind of help her family, achieve a higher status.
Okay. Can you give us an idea of what sort of new equipment and skills and abilities we can expect to find?
Yeah, so there's lots of new abilities, new skills, new specializations. I mean, it's what you've expected in an expansion pack. So, all the different classes have 2 new specializations. There's, tons of new equipment to get. You can see some new armor that we're donning right now with our main character.
It's very intimidating.
Yeah, the glowing dragon emblem, right? So there's tons of that. One thing to focus on is a lot of people had feedback where they weren't too happy with, they thought the mages were overpowered and the rogues and the warriors kind of got the shaft a little bit. So we've definitely spent a lot of time to dial those up. We actually have a new specialization that Sigrun is, which is a shadow rogue, which kind of gives you a lot more cooler abilities. One ability she has is she can actually fire off a puff of smoke and become, pretty much hidden to most enemies. On bosses, obviously you're not going to be fully invisible because it's kind of a cheap tactic, but definitely makes you harder to hit.
Okay.
So let's actually load up a different area. We're going to show you a sneak peek at our spectral, or the Queen of the Black March, we call it now.
Oh,
which is this kind of spectral electric dragon. So here we've reassembled the bones, and then you can see a quick glimpse of the dragon overhead, and then we're going to go in there and try to take her down. What's Dragon Age without a little dragon slaying, right?
Exactly. This is a tough dragon. It's not like killing a whole bunch of drakes like in Origins.
It's definitely not.
It's a formidable fight,
right? Certainly
right?
up there with the high dragon you fought in Origins, or when you fought Flemeth, if you chose to do those missions. And one interesting thing here is, which you'll see, is that the boss battles are a little bit different. We've kind of taken lessons from some of the other encounters that we've done that people really liked in Origins and applied it to Awakening. So a lot more of puzzle mechanics kind of fall into play now with the boss battles. It's less about, let me just try to get as much damage as possible. It's more about trying to figure out, what is the strategy here? Or how do I unlock the kind of puzzle of the combat without getting completely wiped?
I know you said it's a super tough fight, but what's a good tip for this particular fight?
Well, it's tough. It's really going to be a matter of making sure that your mages are pulled back. You're using a lot of lyrium potions. Hopefully you have them. Using a lot of health potions for your characters. You really got to keep an eye on it. You can't just run in there and say, like, I'm going to be a dragon slayer. You really got to pull back, observe the scene, and really kind of, be smart about it.
Okay.
This giant electric dragon, and you only got one guy left already. You can't just, like, go in for the kill, because that's what's going to happen.
So what you're saying is basically the opposite of what just happened.
Yeah, that was a good example of what not to do.
Right.
Not to give any crap to Victor here, but that's a good example of what's going to get you killed the fastest as you play.
Cool. Well, it looks like there's definitely a lot of content in there. When should we expect to see Awakening? When should we expect to see it released?
So this actually comes out in 2 weeks. So this will be out on March 16th on PS3, Xbox 360, and PC. We're really excited, and we hope the fans, I hope we've answered their request for more incredible story content in Dragon Age.
All right, David, I'm excited to see it. Thanks a lot for dropping by.
Thanks a lot, Sean.
All right, so there's your look at Dragon Age Origins Awakening. On with the rest of the show. All right, everybody, it's time for everyone's favorite part of the show. It's trivia giveaway time. Now, as we mentioned earlier, we have some creepy as hell posters to give away for Dominium 2 The Ward. As you can see, there's a face, there's also an arm, and the arm is coming out of the mouth to grab the rest of the face.
Yeah.
It's creepy, it's hairy, there's
Weird.
little particles on the hair. Frankly, I need to wash my hands after touching these posters.
Where's the rest of the arm?
Where's the rest of the arm? That is an answer that you don't want to know.
But here's a question I'll ask you, and if you know the answer to it, you'll win one of 5 signed copies of these posters for Dominium 2. The question is, one of the bosses in the game is based on a mythological creature. What is that mythological creature? You think you know the name? You can send us an email at onthespot@gamespot.com or fill out the trivia module, and 5 of you will win one of these lucky posters. And I think, Sean, you did an artist rendition of this poster.
I did do an artist rendition of this poster. As
Sean and I will
see,
sign that.
Yeah. This is my best. I already signed it. Brian can sign it too. So it turns out 6 posters to give away. All right, so there's your chance to win one of these really cool posters, and that's pretty much going to do it for the entire episode. Brian, what are you doing?
I'm just practicing.
Just practicing the look because you don't get to win one of these posters. The next best thing you can do is reenact what's going on.
Leave me alone, man. I gotta have my own fun.
Yeah, that's actually good that you're practicing that because that's pretty much what GDC is going to be doing to you next week.
Yeah,
we've got a ton of great GDC coverage coming your way next week. It's news, previews, interviews. We've got some live shows coming as well.
2 live shows next week, so we're gonna be all up in it.
All up in it. That's just a great metaphor of what's going to happen to our faces.
But we'll, instead of grasping your face, we'll be presenting you with GDC coverage.
With news like this. It's going to be wonderful.
All right, Sean, we should probably tell everyone that SEG is having a community event this coming Friday at 7:30 p.m. at the New People Center in Japantown here in San Francisco. They're going to have a bunch of games there, including Residents of Fate, Yakuza 3, Infinite Space, and Sands of Destruction. So come on out if you're in San Francisco. Come on out to Japantown. Have a good time with the Sega folks.
So that's just going to about do it for today's episode of the show. I'm Sean McInnes.
I'm Brian Eckberg.
See you guys next time.
I was told not to yell on set anymore. Forgive me. Sorry. So close to one take tour. Damn it. I mean, darn it. Gosh, Willie. Cheese and crackers. Why is there a My Pretty Pony on top of the camera?
Tune in Saturday with a demo of Mod Nation Racers, and this week on PlayStation Network.